right. How do I even introduce this thing? I don't want to do my original thing. I mean, it's still technically a Talking Through the Media's like episode. Like, I'm gonna call this episode 171 and continue it on, and I'm gonna stop numbering it after I hit 200. So because I don't like, I'm tired of it.
But I know it's a pain in the ass. Like, wait, what was last week? What was
like the other show for the Wednesday show? We're calling that I'm gonna call that the Hump Day. Talking to the Media is on Hump Day or whatever like that. And this is the weekend. Well, the wrap up of the week, the weekly wrap up. Like, that's what I'm naming this one. Wrapping up the week. There's always some things that like kind of pop off like right after Wednesday, and when people get ready for the weekend and stuff. So some crazy stuff always happens, and this is no exception. So I'm gonna start off with the Josh Whedon thing. Josh Whedon. He got into it with what is his name? Was it Ray Fisher from the character the guy who played the character Cyborg on Justice League when he directed that?
I know Fisher is the last name because I was just reading this article. I think Ray is his first name.
I think it's Ray Fisher, and it was a back and forth thing, like allegations that Josh Whedon's very toxic on set, and like I'm gonna be honest with you, the way Fisher was handling it, I assumed it was more about like screen time and him feeling that he wasn't getting his character and his presence wasn't being felt and he wasn't getting any love and things like that, and he was just taking it out on Josh Whedon. But then another allegation comes out, and we have that's the wrong one. We have other people from the Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
Yeah, the TV. Yeah, that was his like notable TV show, and then he moved on to movies after that, from what I was reading.
What new things did you come across?
New allegations?
New allegations, exactly.
I actually hadn't heard any of these allegations before you sent me the show notes, so I just read I read an article that had a couple of them in there earlier, and I think it was on Yahoo was the one that I was reading, but I was confused because not that I want to know all the details, but it really didn't explain to me what they were really mad about other than saying he was like toxic to work with, but I didn't know exactly there wasn't really many examples of an instance from what I was reading. Did you find anything?
Well, Sarah Michelle Gellar, in a very polite and I don't know how she did it. Let me have to look this up. Let me pull that one up first. Sarah Michelle Gellar did something on Instagram or Twitter where
her statement about
a statement about how she doesn't want to be associated with the name Josh Whedon for the rest of her life. I saw that. And I was like, wow, that is I mean, she didn't straight up accuse him of anything or say he did this or he did that, but to just she didn't even have to say anything at all. But the fact that she was compelled to say something, she showed nothing but support for the people who were accusing him of being toxic, and then said, I don't want to be tethered to that man anymore. It was just like, this is the most professional backhand that I've ever seen in my life. I just was like, wow.
She told him which exit to get off on without having to spell it out. I am curious to know exactly what he was doing that made these people feel so strongly to have to say this about him.
Sarah Michelle Gellar is proud of her Buffy co-star for speaking out against Josh Whedon. Hours after her Buffy the Vampire Slayer co-star Charisma Carpenter and Amber Benson alleged that showrunner Josh Whedon plagued the show's set with frequent emotional abuse and toxic behavior. Sarah Michelle Gellar has issued a statement of her own in a message posted on Instagram. Gellar voiced support for her former castmates about going public with her experience, although she didn't state if she too had any unpleasant memories of working with Whedon. While I am proud, she goes on, while I am proud to have my name associated with Buffy Summers, I don't want to forever be associated with the name Josh Whedon, Gellar wrote. I am more focused on raising my family and surviving a pandemic currently, so I will not be making any further statements at this time, but I stand with all survivors of abuse, that she says abuse, and am proud of them for speaking out. So she basically said it without saying it, in my opinion, based on that.
Well, and you know what? Honestly, I'm kind of glad that people are talking about this kind of stuff, because when you hear abuse, people always think it's physical, but also these people who have these emotional breakdowns all the time, and they hold the people around them kind of captive by their emotional outbursts, because people are walking on eggshells around them, and no one ever wants to make Joss mad because you don't want him blowing up.
Right.
Like, having to always be on high alert around somebody is abusive too.
But on this People's article, it says Michelle Trachtenberg says there was a rule on Buffy's set that Josh Whedon could not be alone with her. And you came up with a good question about like who came up with this rule?
Well, yeah, because when I read that headline, depending on who came up with the rule totally changes what that means.
So if Josh came up with the rule, what does that mean?
I don't know what that means, but that's really weird. If Michelle came up with that rule, then that feels like she absolutely doesn't feel safe around him. But if he came up with the rule, then I don't know what the heck that means.
That means he don't feel safe around himself being around.
Yeah, he doesn't trust himself to not.
Former Vice President Mike Pence cannot be in a room
he can't
alone
have lunch
with another
ladies.
woman.
Yeah.
Mother has to approve of this interview before.
Yeah.
That is so.
Yeah, I did not like that headline that they could not be alone in the same room because
mother would not approve. That is the sexiest pet name for your wife.
Well, and most of these people on this show, I don't know exactly how old they were, but they were at the oldest.
She was a teenager at the time.
Early 20s, yeah, and teenagers. So you're screaming and emotionally abusing teenagers in Hollywood, like. I need you to get a life job.
And then if her mother or father, who might be also her like manager and things like that, say something, and then and knowing that Josh is wielding all this power, the show is rising, he's getting all these movie deals and he's writing all this stuff and just, his name is just constantly growing. You're thinking, well, I'm just starting out in this business and he can probably like snap his fingers and ruin me like that. So people just have to it's unfortunate. They feel like they have to take it. But now that social media is out, I notice that people are quicker to be like, no, this is wrong, and I'm gonna hurry and get the word out before they try to suppress it. That's usually what's happening.
Well, yeah, and especially if it's this kind of thing, if most people probably don't want to confront him because they don't want to have to deal with it. If they know how he is and how he reacts to people talking to him, people probably just don't even want to address it, and then they just let him keep doing it, which isn't the right thing either.
I mean, at that age, 15, 14, doesn't even matter if like sex sells is true, but sex sales needs to start at a legal age and with their consent. I'm like, I'm like, it's almost like you're because you're putting that message out there that these girls might be obtainable. Ooh, when is she turning 18?
There's like countdowns for like celebrities when they're going to turn 18. I think Billie Eilish was the last one that they did one for, and it's like, there's not some magical veil that gets lifted off of a 17-year-old who's 17 and 364 days old. Then the day they turn 18, it's like, it's so creepy. It is so creepy.
Like Britney Spears, and that's been in the news recently. We talked about that on the other show, that there was that countdown. And I remember when I was because I'm the same age as Britney, and when her album was coming out and everything, everybody was saying the same. I was hearing rumors about dudes in their 40s and 50s also going to those concerts, standing next to those young girls and stuff who were just trying to enjoy Britney's music, but the dads were like buying I'm just chaperoning. No, you're not just chaperoning for the most part. And they had that joke about the countdown to when she's gonna turn 18. That's when
they had one for the Olsen twins too.
I remember. I forgot about that. You're right. They did. And go ahead.
Well, I'm just thinking it's an online countdown, and I think about the people that share that kind of stuff, and I'm like, you're like 42 years old somewhere in Iowa, counting down to when the Olsen twins that you watched as babies on Full House are going to be legal for you to look at because you've been doing it this whole time, but now you just want it to be legal. Not only is that creepy enough in its own, but you're also like, you know what? I'm so comfortable with this. I'm going to share the countdown on Facebook. Like.
Another veteran of Buffy the Vampire Slayer has publicly offered support for Charisma Carpenter, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, she also made a statement herself or shared something with herself, but I haven't read that yet. But yeah, it seems to be a pattern going on, Josh.
Yeah, at this point where there's smoke, it seems like there's definitely fire with this. How many people are going to say that have the exact same experience with this guy before people think, okay, yeah, maybe he does suck? There
was another thing that popped off. Maybe that's gonna be my phrase for it. Popped off.
Popped off. Pop.
Maybe have something shots fired in the background like pop.
Yeah.
But Gina Carano, we were talking about her earlier, and it finally happened. It was during the filming of Talking to the Medias on Wednesday with me and Amy, and we were recording our It was during the segment for We Got Your Mail, because the subject came up. And you guys, if you saw the live stream, you guys saw this on Wednesday. But you're gonna see it. So if you caught it, you caught it. But you're not gonna catch it when I segmentize it for the weekend, because I ripped it out. I edited it out. I'm not gonna lie. I was making like a joke about how because this was before the firing and the new thing that she just did. So the subject matter about would you date a woman that was physically your superior? Like, hell yeah, I would. I would feel so safe. And I made that comment about feeling safe. So it's not really bad. But it was just weird timing that I used her as the example. And now in context, I'm okay with saying the joke again, because now I know that she just made those crazy comments. So I had to pull that out, because I was like, I just used her as the example. But she is back in the news again because Lucasfilms or Disney or whatever finally had to let her go, because she made some not so smart statements.
Remember back in the day when celebrities couldn't say anything unless they released like a statement through their PR people?
Yeah.
I think that a lot of these celebrities who just aren't that bright need to really go back to that model, because so many of them are getting themselves in trouble by saying things. No one asked you for your opinion. They're giving these unsolicited opinions and it's backfiring, blowing up in their face. This is just a trending topic. It happens to one celebrity after another. They cannot shut up, and the next thing you know, they're fired. And then they're like, I never saw this coming. Well, this has been happening for a while now. If you screw up to a certain level, you lose your job. And whatever you think about cancel culture, whatever, if you say something that ticks off the right people or the wrong people, should I say, you're going to lose your job. And that's just a fact of life. So, and if you continue to talk reckless, you have the right to say whatever you want to, but you also have to accept the consequences that come from what you say.
I was literally, that's exactly what I was about to say, the same thing. Yeah. You have freedom of speech, but I have but
it's not free of consequences.
Yeah, I have the right to respond. I mean, I tell people, like the guy, the brilliant actor that was like, say the words you want to say when they were talking about the N-word. I want to say.
Yes.
Say it. Yeah. But and prepare for the consequences. Like, I can't say. No, you can say it. Yeah, it's just that I can whoop your ass if I feel like it. I'll be like,
now, this was another one of those things that I knew that she was in trouble, but then when you try to find out what exactly she was in trouble for, it just keeps saying the incident, the comments, the whatever. So I don't even really know what exactly was said.
In another tweet, I mean, so this isn't just a one-time thing, and I'll try to be fast about this. I know we're running out of time.
Yeah.
But this isn't an isolated incident. I mean, she has been saying things in the past. She
was in trouble in the fall. Was she in trouble back in the fall?
But about like being a vaccine denier, making fun of the masks and wearing masks and stuff. She's a conservative. She's showing support for Trump mostly, and it's fine. That's fine if that's what she wants to do. But she was saying things that were just reckless and just irresponsible in the middle of a pandemic. Don't wear your mask. Disney was like, hey, we're not going to fire you like we did this other director. We're not talking about Josh Whedon anymore. We're talking about another guy. But because we just fired him and then we had to hire him back and stuff. And we don't want to go through that again, basically. I'm just paraphrasing. So just stop. Please be careful with your words. And then she did it again. And then she got into it with some people who were pressuring her to use her pronouns, the she, her thing, and she was like, I don't want to do it. Which that part of it, I agree with. I mean, especially if I'm an ally and I'm supporting it, which she wasn't, but she was like, don't come at me trying to force me to do that on social media because y'all find it popular. Like,
but this is the other thing, is that she is a celebrity. Should be busy doing all of her acting and doing all.
She shouldn't have even responded.
That's what I mean. Aren't you too busy to argue with strangers on the internet, especially arguing with them about these
stuff like
very
that,
charged topics? Yes, no matter which side you fall on, you can't be that socially dense where you don't understand that these are charged topics, and that if you get into a disagreement with someone about them, obviously they can explode to this level where now we're talking.
And
about
there are some people that are trying to get you to do stuff to bring your career down.
If you want to argue with people that you don't know, you'll never meet in your life, I mean, if you want to have a public argument on Twitter or whatever with your fans, you have to accept that people are going to see that and have an opinion about it.
To me, it speaks a lot about her that she could not control herself.
That's what I
on
mean.
this.
It's like, aren't you supposed to be a celebrity and I get that they're still real people, but like, shouldn't you hold yourself to a higher standard and be above all?
Yeah.
But instead, no, you log on Twitter and you're like, who can I argue with today?
There are people working in McDonald's right now who say stuff like, I'm not going to lose my job because of that fool.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I mean,
exactly. But these people who are making millions, billions of dollars can't stop and have that same thought.
Oh, this is going to be great. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
They can't help themselves. This was, I don't know how many times Disney just had a talk with her, and then they at the before this situation, they told her straight up that this is it. Like, you don't, because we are now in business with you, and when anything that you do reflects on us.
Yeah.
And it came out after the fact that when it first was popping off last year that it was because Disney had plans to give her her own show. I mean, just not to be like that a jerk sounding like executive type, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna say just how it really looks to me. If I was a Disney exec, this is the most fame and the highest your career has ever gone with this show and with what we're planning to do with you, your character in the future. And if you don't stop, right, all that's gonna go away. We're not gonna give you all this bigger platform if you're gonna keep acting like that. And it was more important for her to get into it with people on Twitter than was to look at the bigger picture.
Yeah,
I don't know what's wrong with it.
It just is so. I don't get it. I don't understand why you can't look at the life that being an actor has provided you. You're getting to live out your dreams.
Right.
I'm sure that you're financially compensated very well for your roles.
She used to date Superman.
So you would think that, like, why are you so miserable that you seem to have, reached your goals? You're doing very well. People know you. You're on a hit show.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't get much more popular than The Mandalorian.
She likes to play the victim.
Last year. And but you still, all that isn't good enough. It's more important for you to argue with strangers on the internet. And that just shows how immature, to me, that's a maturity level thing.
Yeah. That world, because you know what, the world used to be mostly controlled by, or it still is in a way, about people who think, like that. This was mostly a center right, country. They feel like it's going the other way, and this is a pushback thing, and that's fine. But but look, you're like, you have the right
at the expense of your career,
but at the expense of your own career. And now the access right here, the actor has set up a new movie project with the Daily Wire, the conservative website run by Ben Shapiro. I don't know if you know who he is.
Yeah.
Crazy as Ben. He says, I am sending out a direct message of hopes to everyone living in fear of cancellations by the totalitarian mob. So she's doing a project with Ben Shapiro now, 38-year-old, best known for a role in the hit Disney series The Mandalorian, said in a statement released Friday that she would be teaming up with the Daily Wire, conservative website run by Ben Shapiro, to develop and produce a movie project. So I made a joke online saying, like, she's fighting. She's going down fighting her own career.
She's going down swinging on herself
on her own damn career. Yeah.
But it's just crazy when celebrities say things like the whole cancel culture thing. I understand why people want to push back on certain aspects of it, but the most basic thing about being a celebrity, it's a popularity thing. Mm-hmm. It is simply, it's like being the most popular person in high school, but on a world stage. Right. And if you do something to tick everybody off and the popularity swings, guess what? You're not popular anymore. That's how popularity works. So if your whole career is based on being popular and then you're doing things that are very unpopular and then now you're not marketable anymore and all that kind of stuff, that's just how I'm not saying it's right and it's fair for the individual, but that is the game that you signed up to play. Yeah. That's how, I mean, that's exactly. And now she's learning that now, like, hey, she's going to double down on it. So, I mean, there's some country singers out there. Some people might love that Ben Shapiro project, but is it going to go into the movie theaters like a Disney film would? No. Like, my career is on the right path. Disney, Lucasfilms, Ben Shapiro. Yeah, exactly. You're not even playing on the same court. Like,
Exactly. So, oh well.
So yeah, just one more celebrity who wouldn't shut up and then mad that people are mad at them. So
that's the difference between what do they say? That's the difference between a guy who can play basketball and a basketball player. So that's two different. Yeah. That's two different fields right there.
Right.
But let's move on real quick to the next segment called the comment section. I haven't contributed to the comment section in a long time, and I love doing this. I like to go into like Twitter or Facebook and just read what crazy people have to say about situations that are just outstanding. Like, so the is it Tessica? Tessica is
Tessica. It's like Jessica, but Tessica. Yeah.
Tessica. I should have known that. So this is mostly people just hitting on her about not updating her.
I mean, people were invested in her saga, so
they giving money to Daniel Pills says they're giving money to the wrong people. Thumbs down. Like, what do you mean? Like,
she did. She started a GoFundMe.
I heard about that.
She had a GoFundMe. The doctor did the $12,000 procedure to get the adhesive out for free, and I guess they flew her out there too because she's from Louisiana, and they went to LA for the surgery. So I guess she got flown out, and they did the surgery for free and a GoFundMe.
And she got a GoFundMe for all her trouble. Native Nightmare, y'all. She was looking for money and attention from the beginning. She knew what she was doing. Literally, everybody knows not to use an industrial adhesives on their body at all. And I was just surprised. I thought she was like in her 20s when I first saw her.
When I had no idea how old she was, but I assumed early 20s too. And when you told me her age, I'm not gonna lie, I was shocked.
I was shocked, but I mean, and she did clarify. She was like, "No, I didn't go to the store and buy it because people putting pictures of Gorilla Glue right next to the shea butter in the store just as a joke." She's like, "No, I already had it," and then she decided to use it. Let's see. She did. This is Azalea Jones says, she did all this for clout. It's a shame people will do anything for fame. I don't feel sorry for her. Shit, she knew what she was doing. She ain't that damn slow. Native Nightmare goes dead ass.
Well, okay, but they were saying that she was thinking about taking legal action against Gorilla Glue, but
she denied that. She denied that. She says, I was never going to sue Gorilla.
Good. I'm glad, because what did they do wrong other than make the product that you used wrong?
Oh, yeah. You're going to need that whole $12,000 that you got from GoFundMe to lose that court battle because you were going to lose. You were going to lose.
I'm glad that was a rumor because I was thinking, okay, now wait a damn minute.
Let's see. Last one. I'll say Mott Sepi 911 says, I feel like you're only going to tell us what's going on when you reach 1 million followers. Probably.
How many does she have now?
839,000.
Wow.
She'll probably tell us the truth when she reaches enough followers. And real quick, because I know you're about to head out, so that leads us to the last segment of the day.
Yes, listen. I have enough attention and time to pay for this one real quick.
Yeah, I got. We have the last segment is we call it. It's in honor of your podcast. I'm named of the same name of Keeping It Trill. So I'm gonna give the floor to you and read the statement that we got in, the story that we have in from Tanika. I'm sorry, my bad. From Tanika for the Keep It Trill segment. Here we go. Every now and then, my ex-husband's stepdad cash apps me about $50. At first, when I started, I thought it was for the grandkids. However, he fixes computers and has an old computer of ours that we gave him for parts, and I just realized it had explicit content on it. I just found out from my sister-in-law that some explicit videos from their broken computer went missing after he fixed hers too. We also caught him taking pictures of our feet at a family gathering. I think he may be profiting and using pictures and videos on OnlyFans. What should I do?
That is so much.
First off, why? I'm not gonna. This is not me victim blaming, but your family all be taking a lot of nude pictures and putting them on computers and telling this man to fix it. but hey, I've done it too. But
exactly, yes, that's not. Yeah, what's done is done. But in the future, let's not do that again.
Let's not do it again.
Yeah. But how would you even know? Because even like what I've learned from Catfish is like the reverse Google search for an image. You would have to know exactly what images he has and try to search them on the internet.
Well, first you would have to. You would know for that. If it's on OnlyFans, you would probably have to have a membership to it because it's so private.
So first of all, you would even need to know what account he's under to even get. So I don't even know how you would. I mean, I'm sure that there is some hacker man out there somewhere that can find his web activity and figure that out.
Right.
But then what are you going to do after? I mean, I don't even know legally how you could even prove if he is doing it. How can you prove that he's doing it, and what can you do about it? But the feet. Wait a minute. The feet as a family picnic.
That was the first clue that led to.
Yes, that was a definite clue that something was afoot. Sorry for the bad pun. But what?
She'll be here all night, folks.
I just can't even. I can't even imagine. The appropriate response, obviously, is what the hell is wrong with you? But also, how do you broach that subject with somebody? And
You mean him? What the hell is wrong with
how do you get to the bottom of, is this actually what's happening?
Is this my feet? Is this my feet?
Because at the very least, you don't know what he might be doing with images that he might have, but you know for a fact that he took pictures of your feet. So either those for personal use or not, either way, what is he doing with those? Because that's not okay. I feel like you have to confront him, honestly, and gauge by his response what your next move would be.
True. I agree. Unless I don't know if you're in a situation where you feel that if you do confront him, he's gonna wild out and do something crazy with it. Because the first thing he's gonna do is just deny it. He's never unless. Do what I say. Do what most people do in this situation. They'll get. If you can't get the proof, and but you're right. Still confront them, because if you can't get this off your chest, if you still have this feeling, you have to confront them. But first, before that, try to find out first. It might suck, but you're gonna have to go on OnlyFans, and you might have to go.
I think the very first step would just to even confront him about what is the money for.
Yeah.
Just ask him, why do you keep sending this money?
She doesn't say it's consistent. She says it's every now and then, $50 here, $50 there, which only tells me he's probably making like $5,000, and then gives her.
Well, and it seems kind of weird because, first of all, she's not married to the guy anymore, so it's her ex-husband's stepfather. So that's a couple steps away. You know what I mean? Like, so why would this person be sending you money? I mean, if anything, if it was for the kids, wouldn't he? Because I'm divorced, and my divorced family does not give me money for the kids. They give my ex-husband the money for the kids. And if my family wants to gift the kids, they give it to me. Rather than my mom wouldn't call my ex-husband and say, hey, here's $50 for the kids. She would give it to me. So it's weird that he's going through her to give her money at all.
You want my opinion on? You want my suspicion on that? I think he's testing the water. I think he's trying to see what else he could possibly. Because now, if that, I don't know. That's just my opinion. I think maybe he's just trying to.
But it's just, does he want to get caught, or does he want to see if she's interested in
exactly?
Doing more? Because
maybe
it's
both.
Just very strange to give someone a little bit of money, but with no explanation of what it's for, and not to even be like, there's more where this came from. If he's just giving money with no explanation. So it's very strange. I feel like you have to ask. She has to start off asking questions, and then depending on the answers to the questions he gives, that would determine which way you're going to go from there.
There you go. And that's Amanda Lewis. Just keep it Trill real quick. So that's the advice right there. So I agree 100%. And you got to confront him. You got to confront him.
I think you have to ask some serious questions and push. Like, don't be afraid to ask weird questions, because it's already to the weird point where he's taking pictures of your feet. So you have a right to get a little crazy with him.
Right. There you go. And guys, if you want to sit, like
you can ask him questions.
if you want to send us more conundrums like this, stories that you've maybe you shared with other people before, you're still working it out, situations that you've been in the past, and you just want to get our advice, send it to us. Make it like attention to Amanda, or keeping it trill in the subject line. If you email it to us, you can mail us at mail@t3medias.com, or you can reach out to us on social media. But just somewhere in there, let us know that you want it to be answered right here on this segment right here, and we'll probably get to your story. Just let us know.
If you like what you saw, make sure to subscribe to the channel and please drop a like on this video. It really does help us. Also, don't forget you can turn on notifications so you don't miss a single review, react, why is that trending, or we got your mail.